In this video, I'm going to go over the menu bar file. The next several videos will be using the menu bar up here. So let's start with file, and we have new project. Click on that and it will open a new project. We'll just name it new. And as you can see up here, it added a new project. Okay. And then these are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to go over them anyways. Open a project. If you go to your documents folder, there's going to be a Starcraft create folder in here. Leave it here. Don't move it somewhere else. Reason being, then your software doesn't know where to save stuff. Okay. So if we go here and we go down to my projects, oh, there we go. I can select a project to open, and it says the project's already open. Would you like to revert to this project? Yes. And here it is. Okay. And then we have close project, so I can go ahead and close that project. I can close all projects, which I'm not going to do. I can save a project if I just draw out some stuff here. Alright, and then I want to save a project. It again is going to open up to my documents, Starcraft Create, my projects, and if I click save, it's going to be there. So let me go to a new page and file, open project. It is going to be, what did I name it? Let's see, this one, new. Okay. And this project's already open. Would you like to revert to this project? Yes. Okay. So that's that. And then we have save project as. Now this is going to be where you could create a file in whatever directory you wanted, like to your desktop or wherever. And when you save a project as, then it's going to give you, actually I think when you first save a project, it creates a folder on your desktop. Okay. Mine somehow isn't there. I don't know why. I probably moved it, so I just made a shortcut here. Now, when you're saving stuff here, when I get to File, Import, and Export, I will go over some more of this, but Save As is wherever you would like to save, okay? And then Revert is, let's say I add some circles here, and I don't know, triangle or something, and I decide that I don't want them there. Well, I could click on all of them and hit delete on the keyboard, or select them and right click and delete. But I can also go back to revert, and that's going to give me my original file. All right. So the next thing we have here is import. Now, the most common file that you're going to want to have is an SVG file, because an SVG file is already ready to cut. Okay. Where a raster file is made up of pixels, a scalable vector graphic SVG file is made up of nodes which goes from one point to another point, and that's what your cutter follows, are those points. Okay, that way it knows what direction to go. I hope I explained that right. Okay, so you can go here to File, Import, or you do have an Import button here. Okay, and it says all readable files, but you do have all these file types that you can import into the Create software. Okay, but right now we're just going to work with scalable vector graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this cute little baby whale, and I'll enlarge it a little bit. Now when I hover over it, you'll see that I have cut lines. If I go to my preview window, it shows the cut lines. So this is ready to cut. Alright, so now as far as bringing it in my preference video, if you remember, we went over the SVG DPI and what size your SVG files come into Create. Depends on what you have it set to. So most of my files are from Inkscape. I do have some files that I didn't make myself, like this one here, but it came in at a good size. So if you do find that your images are coming in really large, you may want to change this. If you purchase them from Etsy from a certain person that may use Adobe Illustrator creating the SVG files, then you're probably going to want to change that to Adobe Illustrator. Okay, and that's under let me cancel this, edit preferences. Okay, but if you import a file and it comes in like 20 by 20, it's already selected when you bring it in. So just go over here to your position and size on the right hand side and change it to a more, workable size. You also want to make sure that you have keep proportions checked. So then that brings us to File, Import, Raster files. Okay. Create supports JPEG, BMP, GIF, and PNG file. Now your best bet is a transparent PNG file. But let's say you bring in a PNG file, it says it's transparent, but it's not. This has a white background. So what I did was clicked on the trace image here, and I'm going to choose an image, and I believe that is in my temp files, PNG file, yes. Okay, now I see I have 4 colors here. If I bring it down to 3, I lose my red. So I will go back up to 4 and I will click OK. I promise you I'm getting to the trace. I'm still learning it, to be honest. Alright, so now if I go to my preview, I can see that I have my cut lines. Okay, this one here is the supposed transparent PNG file. So I actually had to trace it to get my cut lines. Okay, so if that happens to you, you download a transparent PNG file and it ends up having a white background, then you're going to have to trace. Most other transparent PNG files will already show your cut lines. Okay, so let me go ahead and import from my desktop a transparent PNG file. Okay, now as you can see, when I move it, you can see my trace lines. If I go to preview, it shows the outline of the PNG file. Okay, so this could be used for a print and cut. Because you can print the color and then you can cut around it. Okay, so I've cleared all that out, and then we can import raster files as well. You can go to import, or you can go to place image, or you can just drag and drop like I just did. Alright, so here's my raster file. Now you can drag and drop any files that you want into the Create software, by the way. Alright, so, well, what would I use the raster file for? Because, you know, if I show my cut lines, there are none, right? You can use raster files for, if I can find it here, for clipping and masking is under Object. Clip and mask, and I will get to that. But I just wanted to, you know, let you know that you can import raster files as well. So I believe then we come to export. Now sometimes you want to export files to send to a friend or whatever reason. If I go to file, let me get a file here, import, do Baby Pooh and Piglet, and I only want to send my friend the Pooh cut file. Okay, so what I'll do is go to my selection tool and just select the Pooh. Alright, so with it selected, if I go to export, which I can use this icon here, or go to File, Export, I can save it to my desktop. I'll just name them Baby Pooh. And save, and this box is going to come up. Again, I can show registration marks for a print and cut. I can check the selection only because that's all I want to export. I don't want to export the Piglet as well. And I know she has design space, so I'm going to make sure that design space is checked. All right, and it's not going to hurt if they have a silhouette. You can still make it design space compatible. They might have a silhouette and a Cricut. All right, so then you just click OK, and then if I clear this out and I go back to import and go to my desktop and find the Baby Pooh, here he is, and open it, then that's all I have. I don't have the Piglet as well. Alright, so let me go ahead and get rid of Baby Pooh here, and I'm going to go over the, let me draw a rectangle here, or a square actually, and I want this to be 1 inch and I will uncheck this. I wanted a 1 inch by 1 inch square. All right, and then I'll keep proportions. Now, remember in Edit Preferences, you set your DPI here. Now mine is usually at 90, but for this illustration, I'm going to set it at 72. So with this 1 inch square, I'm going to export it as square 72. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure this is set at 72. Selection only. Okay. And then I'm going to export it again at, let's see, square 90. And I'm going to change this DPI to 90. Selection only. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and bring those two in with the import. I will do square 72. And as you can see over here, it is a 1 inch by 1 inch. If I import the square 90, you can see it is. So go ahead and make yourself some 1 inch squares and go to your Edit Preferences and set this to 72 and then set it to 90. You can go through all of them if you'd like, to figure out what setting imports your files at the correct size, or at least close to it. Okay. Now there are also other file types that you can export. If I go here, you have all of these types of files: bitmap, JPEG, PNG, TIFF, scan and cut, PDF, AP, HPGL, plotter. I'll be going over the PNG file when I am saving stuff for, like, I'm saving an SVG for a print and cut. But I'm not going to go over that right now because this video is getting a little bit long and I'm sure you're getting bored with all the import export stuff, but I will be going over the PNG for sure. Okay.